Welcome to the Oakles channel. Thanks for watching today. Let's continue our journey to finish every single Game Boy and Game Boy Color game. Today focusing on a game called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Back from the Sewers. Now, as far as the Game Boy Turtles games go, this is my least favorite of the trilogy. However, it's not a bad game in any form or fashion. It's just going to be more of your stereotypical beat-em-up Turtles game with a few weird animations throughout and a few, oddities about the game as well. But this particular game did get moved up in our queue a bit because Hot Wheels 555 request I cover it sooner than later, so naturally moved up in the queue. So again, if you want to see me cover it sooner than later, let me know the name of the game in the comments down below. And just like Turtles 2, I'll move it right on up in the queue. Now, as I start the videos up, look at the box art for the game first. And the box art here is a pretty classic Turtles cover. I don't think it's directly lifted from like any comic book or anything like that, but you have all the main turtles there on the screen. They're all doing their stereotypical turtle poses and whatnot, except for Michelangelo, who has chosen to boycott this particular picture and face away from the camera. And so a little bit of an oddity there because Michelangelo is a fan favorite for a lot of people out there. And to pretty much give him a background image here where he's not even like looking at the camera, can't see his weapons, nothing, that's a little bit on the odd side. But overall, it's still a good Turtles picture. I've just seen so many out there over the years that I'm probably being a little nitpicky about the overall direction of Michelangelo. Now, when you load the game up here, it's going to harken back to the arcade game or sort of the television show in general by showing the skyline up above. It's sort of a nighttime scenery here. It's going to scroll down very, very quickly to the sewer lid, which is going to burst open with a blast of light. And then we're introduced to our four main turtles. Now, it's not going to show like a individual profile picture of all of them. It's going to show like their hands holding the weapons. So we're sort of introduced to the turtles that way. And then we're going to jump on over to the title screen here. And there's not like a lot to write home about the title screen, except for the fact the little thumbnail or the select icon between game and option here is just a very, very kind eyes looking turtle. It just looks like he's happy that you're even playing the game in general, and just a very sympathetic look here. And if you even go to the options menu or the select menu, you get him back again. He's like looking at you sort of out the window here. It's like looks like he's just happy to have you around. He's like, hey, here's some game options. You know, go down the window here. Here's some more game options. Go down another window. Some more game options. I don't know. He's just a very chill turtle. I don't even know like which one he is here because they don't like have his weapon and the game is in black and white. I don't know. There's just something about the individual turtle icons for the menus here that I like quite a bit. But regardless, I choose to go with the default difficulty setting. I go with a normal setting here. And when you start the game up here, you get to select which turtle you want to play as. And they pretty much just did a copy and paste of all four of the turtles. There's no difference as far as like their overall head, their shell shape, nothing like that. The only difference is like what weapon they're holding. Sort of a, I don't know, a lazy way to do it. But at the same time, I mean, they get the point across as far as like which turtle you're going to be playing as. I do start the game up here as playing as Raphael. I'm going to go through all four turtles, but there's not going to be like a lot of difference as far as like the hitboxes or really any special moves or anything like that. So it really doesn't matter like saving up a turtle. That's really not a thing for this particular game. So we start up Act 1 here. We hop down into the sewers. And as far as like the graphics go, they are very like hit and miss. Like there's some aspects of the graphics that are like really fantastic. Like the foot soldiers you're going to be fighting against, some of the enemy bosses you're going to go against here in a little bit. To the background animations, all that's just absolutely fantastic. But the turtle animations themselves, even though they look good like on first inspection, the more you look at them here, the more awkward they become to look. And what I mean by that is like Raphael here, like how he is holding his weapon or his sai here, it just is like the most awkward way possible I could think to hold the sai. I mean, granted, I've never held one in real life, but he's never held it like this in the actual television show. And also like when he jumps and whatnot, the jump animations are fine, but when he jumps and kicks, this is like the worst animation I can imagine for a kick inside the game. I'm not even sure like what the leg is doing. I'm not sure you could like actually kick like that and keep a completely perpendicular, I don't know, body shape to that. I don't know. There's something weird about the animation. It's just sort of wonky as you're going through it. But as you're traveling through the level here, the foot soldiers, they all look great. For the most part, in the first level in the sewer here, you're only going to fight against foot soldiers. They have some variations as far as like throwing out bombs or, you know, punching you and whatnot. But pretty much just foot soldiers in the sewer part. And it's all going to be just simply a straight 2D platforming level. The game's going to go back and forth between 2D and 2.5D. And it's sort of like the bridging the gap between the first Turtles game on Game Boy, which was all 2D, and then the arcade game, which was all 2.5D. So it's like a in-between point between those two games. But as you're going through the sewer here, pretty straightforward. Take out the enemies, you know, along the way. And you eventually get to the end here and you hop out of the sewer. And so at this point, we're walking down the streets of the city. And as far as gameplay-wise goes, it's going to be pretty much exactly the same, except for one core turtle gameplay mechanic that is present here. And that is when the foot soldier hops out of the sewer, throws the sewer lid at you, you are able to hit it and ricochet it back at the foot soldier. And as far as I know, like Turtles invented this particular mechanic here, and I look forward to it in pretty much every Turtles game. If there's ever a Turtles game that is a beat 'em up that does not have the ricocheting or the knockback of the sewer lid here, that Turtle game is trash. We're just going to go ahead and write it off completely. That is a necessary part. And also when you fall into the sewer hole, it's going to have to say who turned out the lights. I mean, it's just simply such an iconic part of the Turtle franchise at this point. But eventually you get done with the sewer or the street here. You jump back down into the sewer. Pretty much the same gameplay again. And then we jump back out of the sewer. And at this point we're on the cityscape again. And then our Master Splinter is going to make his guest appearance. He's going to make 2 guest appearances throughout the entire game. His first one here, he opens up a little window, drops a pizza out for you, and then closes the window back because he does not want to see the beatdown that's getting ready to happen here. So you pick up the pizza, you refill your health, and then you're going to go fight the first boss fight. Now the first boss here is going to be Rocksteady, and as far as sprite animation goes, Rocksteady looks absolutely fantastic. He's got his gun here. Even the bullets that come out, they are a great animation as far as like a very vivid detail for this particular character. As far as his moves go, he's able to shoot his gun, charge at you, and then also do is like hop in the air and sort of do a Indian style stomp, I guess is the best way I can put it. He just sort of slams his rear into the ground. You also have like little foot soldiers who are dropping plants or potted plants from the window, trying to knock you out at the same time, a little extra obstacle to add some difficulty to the game. I'm not sure if that's present in the easy mode, and there may be something even more present in the hard mode, but I don't think the potted plants are in the easy mode. I could be wrong. You can let me know in the comments down below if I have that mixed up here. But he's a little bit difficult to figure out like a pattern, or I didn't necessarily figure out a pattern for this particular fight. And I almost died. I barely beat him with like 1 HP bar left here. And then when you finish him up, you get like a little bonus game. And the bonus game is basically collecting pizzas. And you sort of basically go for the scaffolds here. And you're going to go up and down the scaffolds trying to collect the pizzas. The more pizzas that you collect, the more health you're going to refill before you go into the next level. Now for act number 2, I do bypass Raphael with his limited amount of HP here. I choose Donatello. As far as like hitbox goes, not going to make any difference at all. But in this level is a skateboarding level. We're going to fight against foot soldiers who are also on skateboards. A variety of different attacks for the foot soldiers. You also have like a flying foot soldier up above and his flying foot soldier mobile type thingamajig. And you also have a Baxter Stockman's little drones that are going to come out and try to attack you at the same time. And so a good variety of enemies here. And you also, I almost forgot, you have a truck that comes up and starts dropping barrels at you as well. And so, like I said, a good variety that you're going to be fighting against. But this level here is very, very short. It's our first one in 2.5D. And I don't know if like the game just simply can't handle the 2.5D as well. And so they shortened the level for that reason. I'm not sure. That is a possibility. But eventually we get to the boss level here, who's going to be Bebop. Now, Bebop, as far as sprite goes, is not quite as good as Rocksteady. The head is a little bit, I don't know, misshapen or too large for the body. It just looks a little bit awkward here. Like I said, there's some awkward animations, and these are not even like the most awkward. Just wait till we get to Shredder a little bit later. But as far as like pattern-wise goes, he is very easy to telegraph. He basically shoots out bullets while he's going down the screen like a diagonal fashion. Easy to jump over, easy to avoid. He runs across the screen at a diagonal, also very easy to avoid. But the best thing here is in 2.5D, when you get an enemy coming down towards you, you can sort of get diagonal to them and hit them, and they can't hit you back because of the way the, I guess the hitbox goes from their weapon. And I guess it just goes right above your head because you can continually hitting them while they cannot hit you. And so Donatello here is nowhere near as hard as Rocksteady, and we're able to take him out pretty darn quick. Now, I do say all that, but the first time I went against him, I didn't have the telegraph down super well. Donatello did get captured here, and so I do have to finish the level up of Raphael, so I guess I didn't get to totally bypass him. But when you do defeat a level and you've lost a turtle on your team here, you have an opportunity to rescue that team back. Now, you get to go against a character. His name is Rex 1. I had to look it up because he's a robot police officer. And years ago when I played this game, I had no idea who this character actually was. I thought he just simply made up for this particular game or this particular scene here. And it turns out he actually is in a television show, like 2 episodes, in fact. And I didn't know that until I was in a store one day and I saw a NECA figure of this police officer. Like, holy cow, I guess he actually does exist. But anyway, his name is Rex 1, and he is very difficult to defeat in this game to rescue one of your turtles back. He takes his job very seriously, but you don't have a health bar when you're trying to attack him. You have a time limit, and every time you get hit, your time limit goes down in addition to sort of clocking down normally. And if you get him killed before your time limit is up, you actually rescue one of your turtles back. But like I said, it is much easier said than done. But regardless, now we start up act number 3. I choose Michelangelo as my main character. We're back in the cityscape again, just simply 2D, not 2.5D anymore. And of course, you're fighting out the foot soldiers. You got little bombs on the ground. You also have more falling pots here. Evidently, this game was a big fan of the falling pots from like the 1950 cartoons. But you're fighting those, and we also get the Mousers for the first time in the game, and the Mousers are going to be prevalent throughout the entire rest of the experience, but this is your first time seeing them, and they look just like the Mousers in the cartoon. It eventually gets into an elevator here, and it's going to swap over to 2.5D, and you're going to be fighting on foot soldiers who are like hopping on the elevator, and there's going to be a repeating scene throughout the game. Like almost every act from this one on, at some point you're going to get into an elevator and have a small 2.5D foot soldier rampage of sorts. They're going to come and try to attack you. When we get out of the elevator, now we're at a construction zone. And the construction zone, I actually don't enjoy these levels a whole lot. You basically have like little scaffolds, you're hopping up and hopping down, trying to avoid enemies as you go. And it just gets pretty difficult as far as like, the number of enemies who are going to continually emerge to try to attack you. And when you're trying to jump up and sort of do the animation there, sometimes they can hit you, and it's just simply just not my favorite. However, the boss for this level is absolutely fantastic. You're going to get Crane and his walker. And growing up, I always preferred Crane and his walker instead of the android body. The android body, I don't know, I just never liked the way it looked. And I know some people like really love android body Crane, but I just prefer him in his little walker here. He looks much more menacing and just, I don't know, it just looks a little bit smarter, I guess. But I like Crane as a little walker here. He's not too hard of a boss to take out. And when you take him out, he has a crazy animation. It looks like Igor here. His eyes like popping out a little bit, and he sort of rushes off to the side. And at this point, you do get another bonus game. Collect the pizzas, refill your health. Just like the last one, just a little bit more variation. Now, act number 4 starts up here, and you're basically following a driller mobile. I know there's a term for it. I just simply don't remember. It's one of the toys from the toy line. You follow that into the ground here, and you start off in like a cave level. Giant boulders are, plowing their way through the cave, trying to roll over you, try to attack you. And I'm playing as Leonardo for this particular act, and I don't like the animation for Leonardo either, because it looks like he's holding his sword in one hand, and he's got his other sword like tucked under his arm here. And it's just a really weird animation. Like, I have never seen Leonardo like walk around like that. That just simply doesn't look quite right for Leonardo. And so just sort of odd. Now, once we get out of the boulder area, we move more into the flamethrower area. And these look less like flamethrowers to me, more like a splintered post that are going to come out of the ground trying to impale you here. Or at least that's the way it looks in the black and white version of the game. Perhaps when it's put on the Super Game Boy or in the Game Boy Color, they actually add like a little fire animation to them or fire colors. But this is a very difficult area to go through, especially when you have like foot soldiers firing off like bazookas at you when you're just simply trying to hop over the flames. But if you ever make it out of the cave, we're going to journey back into the sewers here. We're going to come across my all-time favorite TMNT enemies as a mini boss, which is the killer pizza monsters. I know growing up, like this was my all-time favorite episodes. Like seeing the pizza monsters on the screen. I didn't even know what like xenomorphs were, the alien movies. I was too young to see any of that. But I loved this particular creature. I thought it was just terrifying looking. But then seeing it in the game here, it just simply brought a little kid's dream, or I guess nightmare rather, to life. Now, as you're journeying through the sewer, there is one part here where if you're going for a high score, this is the absolute best part of the entire game, because there's an endless supply of mousers that are going to spawn. And you simply drop out of the cave hole, and you're on the edge of the sewer. They're going to keep jumping over your head, and you simply hit them as they're going down. And if you want to get an all-time high score in this game, right here is the spot, and you can just simply rack those points up. I don't know if there's any benefit or bonus to getting more points, except for like, bragging at the end maybe, or posting like some sort of leaderboard. But if you wanted to get a high score, this is the actual spot that you would need to do it. Now, when you get to the end of the level here, you're going to go against Shredder for the first time, or as I'm going to call him, Galloping Shredder, because his animation here as he's running across the screen, it is not threatening in any form or fashion. This is a very comedic look here, as he is just literally galloping, getting those steps in, high knees all the way from one side of the screen to the other. Yeah, he can shoot out like a little energy blast at you. He can do other things, but honestly, you're only going to notice the galloping for this particular fight. When you do take Shredder out here, Crane drops down, sort of rescues him on a little floating platform, and off they fly off to, which is going to bring us into act number 5, because Splinter is going to pick us up on the turtle blimp, and we're going to journey off into the sky to follow Crane and Shredder. Now, when we get up here, this is probably my least favorite level in the game, and I think I already said that once, which I guess goes to why it's my least favorite turtle game on the Game Boy. Of course, that's a short game to have 2 least favorite levels or 2 least favorite areas, but you're basically in the sky here, and you're sort of jumping from platform to platform, and you can't actually fall off like and fall down to your death. It's a vertically looping level, so if you fall down, you simply come back out like the top of the screen or the platforms at the top. That's where you're going to land, and there's just simply a lot of obstacles here, a lot of projectiles, a lot of enemies. And I just don't enjoy this particular level very much. The mini boss at the close of it is going to be Baxter Stockman. It looks just like Baxter. I mean, there's not a lot to say about it. Not too hard of a boss fight. And once you defeat him, you go into a building and you get a face-off against Sergeant Granitor, if I'm saying it correctly. I never actually remembered his name. I had to look it up for this particular video. I knew he was General Tragg's assistant, but I guess it's Sergeant Granitor. But anyway, he has like a little flamethrower here, but if you just simply take the same strategy against Bebop and keep that diagonal to him a little bit, he's rarely ever going to hit you just simply because the hitboxes are not going to line up, and his flamethrower goes simply right above your head there. Once you take him out, you do get to rescue April, and she gives you like a little kiss here, which brings back memories of that Oprah episode.
Oprah, I've been trying to talk her into an interspecies relationships for months now.
Whoa, Raph, chill, man. And she won't do it, huh?
And then we hop back down into the sewer. We're going to try to find the Technodrome. So for act number 6, we're now surfing through the water here of the sewer, trying to avoid different bombs along the way. We eventually get back into like a little rock tunnel, trying to avoid the blast from the Technodrome. They're going to be coming across the screen, sort of like the flames from Bowser at the same time. And you're also going to be trying to fight off foot soldiers, mousers, and I think there's another obstacle in this area. I don't know. There's a lot of obstacles that are going to be coming at you like just constantly on repeat. And if you kill them all off, just simply more appear. There's no end to the actual enemies. And once again, I wonder like what is hard mode like for this? Because this is fairly difficult for a normal difficulty setting. But eventually you do get to the Technodrome. You hop into it here, journey through a little bit of that, and you're going to fight up against General Trag here. Now, as far as like a boss fight goes, he's very simple or very easy to telegraph here. He shoots out 30 bullets, pauses for a second, 3 more bullets, and then he rolls into a little ball and rolls across the screen, and then rolls back and does the same pattern over again. You just simply have to jump over the bullets and hit him a couple times and then avoid that. Very, very easy to telegraph. Then we walk on into the Technodrome here, and tons of turrets, tons of foot soldiers. Flamethrowers are back. You're also going to go through another little construction zone here. We're trying to grapple up the scaffolds, just as annoying as it was the first time around. And you're going to get to the first of the 2 final bosses of the game, which instead of having Galloping Shredder, now you're going to get Cowboy Dancing Shredder. Because like he sort of teleports around the room, and he sort of does like a little, I don't know, it just looks like a country dance singer here, coming down, trying to attack you. Really easy to take out because of that, once again, that angle of the diagonal, that 2.5D. Easy to take out, but the animation is just very odd here. And then the final boss of the game is going to be Android Body Crane, and also a very easy boss because you're just simply going to jump up in the air, sort of slam down. It's going to freeze you for a second from the impact. All you have to do is just simply jump up in the air, kick him, and you sort of hover off to the left-hand side, and you will pretty much never get hit. Very, very easy boss fight for the game. He pops out of the Android at the close, and then he gets sucked back into Dimension X. Now, once he's sucked back into Dimension X, the game is going to come to a close, and then the credits are going to begin to roll. And if you wait through all the credits, you do get like a little turtle animation scene with a little pizza thrown at the screen, which is sort of cool. A nice little Easter egg if you actually wait through all the credits. But let's talk about the game as an overall here. Now, like I said a couple times in the video, this is my least favorite of the Game Boy TMNT games. But that does not mean I dislike this game. I think it's fun to pick up and play. It has a lot of fun animations in it, some very awkward animations at the same time, but the levels themselves, they are pretty fun to go through. There are a couple that I don't really like a whole lot, but there's also a lot of levels I do enjoy. The music in the background, they capture the TMNT song wonderfully with chip tunes, and it's just overall like a fun game to pick up and play and run through in like maybe 30-40 minutes. Honestly, if I plan to pick it up and play through it, I'm probably gonna put it on easy mode because I just simply want to scroll through it. A quick little fun game to play through. And so overall, I can't say it's my favorite game, but I don't dislike the game in any way. I'd probably give it a solid 6 out of 10. Like I said, the worst of the Turtle games on the Game Boy. But if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about the Turtles game down below. And as always, go out there, find a great game to play. Simply have a great rest of the day.